So I think I'm fascinated by the psychology of money too. And I think one it seems to me that one of the big motivators is loss aversion is very powerful and becomes more powerful as people have more to lose, which is generally as they get older, they become more loss averse. And I think one of the big areas that Rachel Reeves needs to look at if she's going to make people feel more secure around money psychologically is pensions. And, we've seen very vividly with this, with all the speculation around is she going to attack the lump sum? Is she going to cut the contribution, the relief on contributions, all of these kinds of things? People have acted in a very visceral an emotional way about that and sometimes done things that are probably against their best interest very, very sadly. So I think one of the things that she could do would be to convey that pensions are safe and you don't need to be so worried. I also think inheritance tax, I mean, it's slightly linked, is another very important example of that because it doesn't affect all that many people for the amount of emotion that
Mm.
it generates. But I think there is something very visceral about the idea of one's legacy and what you leave your children. And it's something that people really emotionally dislike about the idea of that being taken. So those are the two areas that I would highlight.
This is such an important point. And I was in the Commons when Rachel Reeves at the end of July last year announced that she was going to end the winter fuel allowance for anyone who was not on pension credit. And I drew breath. And I said to my colleague next to me, I said, did she just announce that she's going to take away the winter fuel allowance from anyone who's not on pension credit? Whatever she does next week, let's hope she doesn't make a decision as crass as that in terms of people seeing it in their pockets and their bank accounts, because that had the most visceral reaction. Simply to this day, cannot understand how she came up with that decision. That someone on, £12,000 a year would not get this amount in their bank account